these are things I was thinking about the past week that I want to start, applying to the way I approach life and, achieving goals. First thing is protecting your headspace. And basically what that is like being really cognizant and aware of the things that you listen to or watch or even, I guess, talk about with other people that will affect the way you think and approach the things that you want to do every day. For example, like for me, it's music. When I listen to a certain kind of music, I start acting different. And that changes the way I think. And when you change the way you think, you change the way you act. That's why I try to not listen to too much music because, it just promotes things that I don't even need to be focusing on right now. So instead of listening to music, try to listen to the things that are related to the things that I want to do. So podcasts, YouTube videos, anything that's aligned with the things that I'm trying to achieve, that's what I should be listening to and, surrounding my headspace with. Because if you're trying to do anything that takes a lot of effort and you're just starting, which I am, all the things that you're used to doing are usually things that aren't going to get you to where you want to be because you're not there yet. So making that change is something I'm trying to work on, is listening to less music that's going to affect the way I think and approach life in a negative way. And that's a lot of music nowadays, a lot of rap. I like rap music, who doesn't? But the things that it talks about and promotes, it's like it plants those little seeds in your head, and over time those things grow and turn into actions that that you shouldn't be doing if you want to achieve your goals and if you want to stay focused on your path, which that's what I'm trying to do. So just protecting your headspace and cultivating a mindset that's going to be conducive and productive in the long run. So that's the first thing. The second thing, and this is something that is really big for me because it's something I don't do a lot of, and that's having total confidence in your ability to reach your goals and not allowing self-doubt to creep in. It's going to happen regardless, where self-doubt is part of the human experience, and that's something I'm learning to understand and accept, but you can't let it take over. When you're trying to do anything that's worth doing and that's really difficult, self-doubt is going to be, it's gonna present itself. It's gonna be part of that journey, and you need to be really good about shutting that voice up and shutting it out, because if you let it take over, you're not gonna be able to stick with anything. And that's why in the past I've quit things. Yeah, having complete and utter confidence in my ability to do the things that I said I'm gonna do, because that's why I started in the first place, because I know I can do it. But once you start doing it, once you start doing the work and you realize how difficult it is and how hard it is to make progress in anything, that's when you start doubting yourself. And in the past, I've let that doubt grow and take over, and I didn't do the opposite of that, which is having complete confidence in yourself. Like, I know for a fact I can do this. I can do these things. And that's why I started them in the first place. I'm not an idiot. It's just like, it's easy to quit. It's easy to quit things, especially nowadays. You really don't have to do anything difficult. And so I'm trying to change that habit in me of not being confident in my ability to stick with things. And that's one thing that I heard from some guy I watch on YouTube. He's like a big e-commerce guy. Something that he said that really stuck with me, but I didn't implement, I don't know why, is when you want to achieve anything worthwhile or anything really big, you can't have any doubt in yourself. There can be no self-doubt, because it just won't work out in the end. You need to be 110% certain that you can do it, as long as you just keep going, and you can. And so that's what I'm trying to work on, is that self-confidence in my ability to improve. Number 3, trying harder doesn't always mean increasing the amount of work you're doing. What I mean by that is, it's pretty self-explanatory, but it's easy to think that trying harder means to work double the amount that you're already working, and getting more reps in, or you know, whatever it may be, just doing more work, which it's partially true. At some point, you do have to just do more work, but when you're first starting out, this is stuff I'm learning about myself, is like, you're so bad at things that a lot of the things you're doing, you don't need to do more of it, you just need to do it better. So being better at managing your time, being better at saying no to things that aren't going to get you to where you want to go. And like in the beginning, a lot of it just comes down to better decision making. And so that's what I'm learning about myself, and that I'm going to be doing moving forward, is just make better decisions. That is the number one way that I can try harder right now, as well as doing more work. Like, that's also, I'm not going to shy away from the work. I'm going to do more work, but it really comes down to it also comes down to making good decisions, high quality decisions. Continuing to learn fast and act faster, which is my motto right now. It's like, money loves speed, so learn fast and act faster. I literally wrote it on a piece of paper and stuck it on my wall right there as a reminder of one of the number one rules of being able to do anything big and, you know, grow. Is just like, once you learn something, immediately do it that minute, that second, that day, whatever. Like, don't do anything else until you implement that thing. And that's how people that achieve like big things, you know, that's how they operate, that's how they move. It's just like, I figured something out, now I'm gonna immediately go do it, like right now. And so that's an attitude and a habit that I'm going to cultivate, and that I'm, you know, building in myself. This is a saying that, you know, that really helps me just face the reality of the situation that I'm in, which is like, the situation I'm in is, I'm realizing how hard it is to do anything that's, you know, worth doing. And once you get to that point, that's when you want to quit and try something else. And I've done that multiple times before. And one thing that's kind of helping me continue to stay the course and not hop from thing to thing is the saying, what's the alternative? When you aren't feeling up to it, whatever it is you need to be doing, when you're not feeling up to it, and you'd rather just, you know, kick back, relax, and not do the things you're supposed to be doing, I like to ask myself, what's the alternative? Am I just going to go back to the way I was living before and just be upset and angry all the time? Or am I going to, you know, keep trying and keep getting better? Because, like, I like to play it out. I like to play out both scenarios. If I go back to the other way, nothing good happens at all. And it's just like, you know, it's not worth it. It's not worth quitting. And the other path, which is the path less traveled, because it's more difficult, usually leads somewhere good if you keep going. And so if I still have my entire life ahead of me, then the better choice would be to just, you know, stay the course and just keep going, even if it's difficult, especially if it's difficult, because anything that's difficult is worth doing. So yeah, I like to ask myself, what's the alternative? Am I just going to go back to the way I was living before and just be a basement dweller and become a basement dweller? Or am I going to, you know, get up and do something that I'm going to be proud of in a couple years? You know, I like to ask myself, what's the alternative? Pick one. The next topic ties back to what I was talking about with confidence. Total confidence is like, confidence is a result of having lots of data around a specific thing. I'm not going to unpack that too much because it really goes super deep, and I can make a whole video about that. The premise of that saying is, the more you try things, the more reps you do in a specific thing, the more confident you become that you can do it again in the future, because you already know how things are going to play out after you do it. You also get better at doing it, so you know that, and you have a larger sample size of actually doing those things. For example, for me it would be doing something that I don't really want to do, especially in the moment, but I know I should be doing. So basically, staying disciplined. If I have a really large sample size and a track record of being disciplined, I'm not going to get nervous whenever I feel like I don't feel like doing something. I'm not going to get nervous that I'm going to give in to that feeling, because I know in the past that whenever I face this feeling, I usually make the right decision. So I'm probably going to do that again. That's when you start getting confident at things. So if you want confidence in any given thing, putting a lot of reps in, a lot of repetitions in, whether they're successful or not, that's what's going to give you confidence, because eventually something hits, and then you're able to dissect why that thing worked, and you can repeat that action, and then you get better and better, and that grows more confidence. So again, this all stems back to putting in the reps. That's why I have an index card taped to my monitor right here that breaks down the specific actions that I should be repeating that are going to lead to the results that I want, so that I know, like, hey, when push comes to shove, if you're confused about anything, you should just be repeating these actions. Do this as many times as possible, and you're gonna get good at it, and you're gonna get more confidence. So yeah, confidence is a result of having lots of data around a specific thing, and you get that data by taking action and actually putting the reps in. So if you're trying to get better at YouTube, you start off at 0. You have 0 confidence because you don't know what you're doing. If you want to get confident that you can, create a successful YouTube channel, start uploading videos, and that is your frame of reference. And those are the reps that you need to be putting in. The more videos you upload, the more data you have on what you need to do to get better at them, and the better you get. And the better you get, the more confident you get. Last thing I want to talk about is the fact that when you start working and you keep working even when you don't feel like it, eventually you get into a flow and you start to like the work because you're seeing progress happen right before your eyes. And so basically what I mean by that is, every day, whenever I have to come home from work and do more work, it's really hard to feel motivated to do that because you're already tired. And so I'm sitting here or standing right there looking at my monitor like, fuck, I got more work to do. And it's really hard to start. But the good news is that's the hardest part, is just starting it. Because once you start, there's gonna be like a 10 to 15 minute period where you're still in that mindset of, oh man, I can't believe I have to do all this work, this, that, and the third. But once you get past that, you hit flow state, basically. It's like, okay, I'm starting to enjoy the work because I'm seeing the progress happen. I can more or less estimate how long this is gonna take. And basically, I'm seeing the fruits of my labor, happen before my eyes. Once you write a script, and then the script is done, that's a feedback loop that's closed, and you're like, okay, cool, I'm making progress. And then recording the video, and then you finish recording the video. Nice. That's another thing I can check off the list. And then you get the video into the editing software and start editing, and it's halfway done, and you play it through, and it's starting to look good. And then, by this point, it's been 2 hours since you started working, and you're enjoying it. And then the video's finished, you're done editing the video, and then you upload it, and then you feel fulfilled and you feel good because you close that feedback loop. So it starts with like 10 to 15 minutes of dreading the work and not wanting to do the work, and then once you get past that, you actually start to enjoy it. So the point I'm trying to drive home for myself is that ignore the feeling of feeling bad about having to do work like right before you start, because that's normal. You're always gonna feel that. The one thing you need to put all your effort towards is just starting. Because once you start, you want to keep going because you're supposed to be doing that work anyway. So like 90% of your effort just goes to starting. Don't let any distractions come in. Don't start scrolling. Don't go for a walk. Even if it seems productive, it's all procrastination. The only thing that's productive is actually doing the work that you're supposed to be doing. It's really encouraging to know that fact, because you have that one sliver of hope that you can actually do the work. And it's like, on the drive home leading up to the work that I have to do once I get home, is I can at least hang on to the fact that, hey, once I get started, I'm going to start enjoying it. So all I have to do is get through 15 minutes of not feeling up to it, and then, I'm in flow state until the end of the work session, which it really does feel nice. I like when I'm sitting down working and I realize that I'm enjoying the work. That's a really fulfilling feeling, because it always seems so daunting, but once you start, it's like, it feels nice. It really does. So yeah, these are all things that I'm going to be doing moving forward, especially this week, because I haven't worked in a while and I need to get back on the grind. See you next week.